Yo, what's going on, guys? This is Miasin and welcome to my Traptrix combo videos. So just make sure you like, comment, and subscribe because it motivates me a lot to keep making videos like these. And yeah, let's just jump into combo number 1. Alright, so for combo number 1, there's really nothing much to explain here. It's basically just Mermelio and Shade. Well, I mean, you can do it with any other Traptrix, it's just that you're gonna end with like one less card, and it's like it's the bread and butter combo. So as you can see, you're going to search your card, which is, you know, like Gravedigger, since like it's kind of the best trap hole, I don't see why you would play Bottomless and Floodgate anymore. Like those cards just aren't really good. So you always have at least 3 good trap holes to access, and you really don't need like a large number of them because you kind of win the game very easily. Like this is not like a slow-paced Traptrix deck, so yeah. I mean, I'm going to explain this like even more in detail in my deck profile coming up tomorrow, by the way, alongside the test hand, so yeah. But yeah, as you can see now, I'm using the Shade Brigandine after I'm making the Sarah, then I can summon something. Here you can also summon the Mantis, and then like use its effect by bouncing back like a set card that you have in your hand, in case you're out of Mermelios in the deck. Even though, you know, it's like the odds are low because this is like turn 1 play, but you know, if the situation actually happens, then it's not the end of the world. But Mermelio is actually a mandatory effect, so even if your opponent has absolutely no spells and traps, Mermelio still has to activate and destroy, like attempt to destroy a spell or trap the opponent controls. Well, actually it can even destroy your, oh actually no, never mind, it is only your opponent controls, so yeah, and then Sarah is going to trigger and set a Traptrix card as well, trap hole, normal trap from your deck to your field. So here I go for Treacherous, and then I set Gravedigger because I have Rafflesia, and I didn't want to set like another Gravedigger. It would have been like way too much, honestly. Like no variety at the end of the day. Like if your opponent doesn't really lose to Gravedigger, then you kind of just feel dumb. But now, since as you can see, Rafflesia was the 5th summon, we are 100% covered from Nibiru, because if we get Nibiru here, we go Rafflesia, detached material, I mean the monsters, so we still have no traps in the grave to activate Treacherous, and then we send the Grave Hole. Actually, that wouldn't really work because then you would have a trap in your grave after sending, so the Treacherous would be dead, but whatever. I mean, if anything, I guess you can set like another Gravedigger in case you're scared of Nibiru, so you have like 3 Gravediggers, but it really does depend on what your opponent's playing. But Gravedigger, I guess, is so generic that it's not that risky of a bargain. But anyways, let's just jump into combo number 2, which is pretty much the exact same thing except slightly worse. So pretty much all you need now is just like a Traptrix monster and Parallel Exceed, which kind of just synergizes really well with any deck that can just instantly make a Link 1 monster that points, because it's just a 1-card rank 4 basically. Well, a 1-card rank 4 that has like a requirement. And also, it is a break. Like if you draw 2, you have a useless copy in your hand, and once you summon your first one, then you have a useless copy in your deck, so it's kind of bait, but whatever. So the exact same thing, except exact same ending board as combo number 1, except that we have 1 less card on the field, because we were never able to use like a Traptrix effect like turn 1, unless our opponent is really dumb and Nibiru's us here. So not only do we negate Nibiru, we deal them 2k, we set we use Sarah's effect, so we set another trap hole trap from our deck, and then we have Gravedigger. But you know, I don't think anyone's dumb enough to like Nibiru a Traptrix like Rafflesia and Sarah combination, or keep Nibiru after game 1. Like it actually would work like against them. So anyways, that's it for combo number 2. Now let's get to the juicy part. Alright, this is really sick because it's actually not really a combo, it's like the flow of execution when you have only 1 Mermelio to play with, like assuming that your 4 other cards are just like hand traps or just weird utility cards that aren't really traps, or just not cards that have anything to do with your engine. Like, I mean, they could be like duplicate normal summons, and if the game state is like super like simplified, then this is just like perfect. And I am like 100% the creator of this combo, so it was just like a really cool like thing to realize when I actually, like when I saw what 1 Mermelio could do. I was just mind blown. It's crazy. But basically, you're going to go Mermelio search. Obviously, it has to be the 1 proactive trap, because otherwise, well, you can't necessarily play the game. I mean, even though it is proactive, you still have to rely on your opponent summoning 1 monster. So it's semi-reactive too, but it's as proactive as it gets. So now, since you activated a normal trap, you can get summon any Traptrix monster from your deck. It's gonna be Dionea, which is going to reset the Treacherous trap hole, and then since you activated a Traptrix monster on the field, you can use Sarah to set another trap hole. So here we have a Gravedigger, we're going to keep it. And we're going to top deck something completely useless next turn. It really does not matter. It's just showing the flow of execution with only one Myrmelio, which I think I can compare this very well to like how Multi-Faker can explode in card advantage. Honestly, Myrmelio is Multi-Faker, so yeah. We're gonna draw Ash, irrelevant. This is a really sick play. It's extremely important because I'm linking off a Dionea for a second Sarah, so now I can actually try to destroy my own 2 Sarahs with Treacherous, and since they're both unaffected by traps, none of them will die. However, since I activated a normal trap, I get to summon a monster, a Traptrix monster, from my deck with a name different than every Traptrix monster on the field that I control, and since I linked off that Dionea, I no longer have a Dionea on the field, which is really important because if we attempt to destroy the Dionea and the Sarah, it wouldn't have worked. Since we are only allowed to summon Mantis and Myrmelio, I don't play the other Traptrix, they're really, really horrible. And now we actually get to summon Dionea back, which is sick, so that's exactly what we're gonna do. Summon Dionea exactly in this column. You have no other choice. It really has to be on this column very, 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 very specifically. So now you're going to reset Treacherous, and you're going to set another Gravedigger's Hole, which is insane. At this point, we have 3 traps. Like, what? 3 traps and with 1 Myrmelio. It's nuts. It's just one single card gets you there. And then we were going to make Akashic Magician. So basically for Akashic, you only need 2 monsters with the same type, except tokens, whatever. When it is summoned, actually, well, I mean, whatever. If this card is link summoned, the mandatory effect is that you have to bounce back every card on the same column. You don't choose if you want to activate this. So now you're going to bounce back the Dionea there. If your opponent had like something, so like a Kaiju or whatever, you could actually bounce that back as well. But now you're going to bounce back your own Dionea, which is sick because we haven't used our normal summon yet. So we're going to use the normal summon right away, summon Myrmelio. If your opponent has a spell or trap that you want to destroy, well, you can destroy it. So that's cool, like a cool way to destroy cards. Since Treacherous actually just handles the monsters, then you have Myrmelio for spells and traps, and now we're making a Phoenix. So if you know the card that you drew, you don't really like it, it's not a big deal. And now, I'm pretty sure I pressed on pause. What the heck is this? But anyways, now that we make the Phoenix, before we make Astrum, we gotta make, we gotta use Akashic Magician's effect, and then we can excavate cards equal to the amount of like link rating co-linked to Akashic. And Akashic was co-linked to a Phoenix, which is link rating 2, so we can excavate 2 cards, and we can add them from the excavate to the hand if they match the name of a card that we declared. So in this situation, I declared Solemn Strike. If I declared like anything else, then the Solemn Strikes would have been sent to the grave. But since you play Lost Wind, you can just always cull a card that you really want in your hand, and then, like, you know, worst case, I mean, you're probably maybe going to mill like 1 Lost Wind or something, and, you know, maybe you're gonna be lucky and like actually get like the card that you actually did declare, so that can be very, very sick. But anyways, as you can see, I have Abramax and 3 back row with potentially 2 excavates and, you know, the card in hand that I never touched. And my opponent lost like countless cards on the field, so absolutely amazing. Let's just jump into the final combo. So as you can see, this is also kind of just showing a flow of execution, not really a combo, but this is what happens when your hand is absolutely dreadful, like horrible, and you still don't want to lose, because a lot of people with a hand like this, they would just scoop it up and go to game 2, but I don't really like this mentality. I like kind of just winning every single game, honestly. I'm just kind of obsessed with winning sometimes. But as you can see, I just made sure I would stack my opponent's hand with like 2 monsters that I could summon, just to showcase how many monsters you could actually pop and get back from like a bad situation. So we're going to let our opponent do as much damage as they want. Whatever, and then during the end phase, we're going to use our first Shade Brigandine. There was no reason to use it at turn 1, so we can do that. By the way, if you have a Traptrix instead of the second Shade Brigandine, this combo also works perfectly. So it's just that you're gonna like lose the 3rd Shade in your deck since you have to banish 1 with Traptrix, but it doesn't change anything. So we're gonna do that during our own turn. We're going to Shade again, and then a lot of people, when they have this, instead of trying to get it like an engine going, they just make Redoer and play from there. I don't like that. There is just so much more that you can do. You can make Rafflesia and then right away use Treacherous from your deck with Rafflesia's effect, which is already something very, very good, because sometimes like you don't have like all traps. Like, you might just have, like, I don't know, like hand traps in like those 3 traps, for example, and you don't necessarily have any traps in the grave, so that can happen. So we're gonna pop everything. We're going to turn Rafflesia into Sarah, which is a really sick play. I like it a lot. And we're going to back to the front the Rafflesia, and since we use the normal trap, we get to summon a Traptrix monster from our deck, which has a name like different than the Traptrix monsters that we control. And guess which monster fits like this perfectly? It's Dionea again. So we're going to reset Treacherous, and then once again we activated Traptrix monster effect, so we set the Gravedigger. Just look at the amount of card advantage, it's crazy, man. Once again, just off of a really bad hand. So now we can bounce back Dionea. Fun fact, if you wanted, you could actually summon the Mantis instead of Dionea, and then you would bounce back the Mantis, normal, Surge Dionea, and you also get your engine going from there. You can just always play the 1-card Yu-Gi-Oh! And yeah, it's just, it's really sick. So now Dionea is going to reset, revive back the Rafflesia. This is like the kind of play that you want to do when you want to make a Link 4 monster. Otherwise, you just end on like Sarah, Dionea, and Rafflesia, no problem. Because the Rafflesia actually has a really good passive effect, where as long as it's on the field, your Traptrix monsters cannot be, I believe, targeted or destroyed by battle and by card effect. So like, they're literally undefeatable. And like, except Rafflesia itself, sorry, herself. But yeah, like right now, it's just we're just gonna use them for like link fodder. So once again, gonna make the Phoenix play with the Akashic. So gonna whatever. I mean, excavate the Solemn Strike. It's obviously a luck move, but yeah. And then of course, just showcasing the Avramax. If you don't wanna like, if you wanna make like an IP Masquerena instead of the instead of the Phoenix, that's perfectly fine. You only lose like the ability to excavate off of Akashic, but what is really nice about that is that at least the Avramax cannot be destroyed by card effects, which to a certain extent I would even say it's better. It's just, I don't know how often IP Masquerade actually comes up, but honestly that could be an interesting play, because at the end of the day this is kind of like a trap deck in a way, so the extra deck doesn't really come up that often, so you know, you probably have the freedom of doing whatever you want. But anyways, that is pretty much it for this combo video. I really hope you guys actually learned and enjoyed from this video. If you have any comments or feedback, let me know in the comment section below. And once again, don't forget to like and subscribe, because it motivates me a lot to keep making videos like these. And yeah, that's pretty much all I had to say. So Yasin is signing out. Peace.